I would say is that we have seen that shops are being closed. So we should then better coordinate this whole thing. What I mean is that now that shops are starting to close down, it is us who should now call the councillor and say, Councillor, these shops are closed now. How can government help us as South Africans to get stock so that we can take this stock and put it in these shops that we have let to these people? Unless we start, nobody will start for us. We are very much grateful to March and March that they are here today, but they have helped us. But what we should do now as local South African people who wants to do business, what we should do is to knock at the door and ask the government, how is it possible that somebody who can just have a passport, somebody who's an asylum seeker, is having a business here, is running a Spaza shop here in South Africa? How is that possible? These are the questions that we need to ask as citizens. You go on and vote, but you don't know what you are voting for. Because when we ask the police, when we ask the policeman, but Harman, does this paper that this man have allow this man to have a business? They say, no, there's nothing that we as police can do about that. That is your local government who have bylaws and who must enforce their bylaws. They are not doing that. But it's up to us to stand up and open those shops for us so that we can send our children to school through the money we generate from our Spaza shops, like it used to happen in South Africa. We must go to government. That's what we must go and say, that how do we restore our township economy? Exactly. Because this is our economy. We cannot go to Sandton. Why does these guys who government are so in love with, why don't they go and set up business in Sandton? But they come here and to our dusty townships and at every corner there is a shop. But we South Africans, you would rather, you know that your neighbor loves business. Your neighbor has a tuck shop, but you allow the illegal foreigner to come and set up a shop next to your neighbor. Exactly. Now your neighbor is out of business. As a South African, he doesn't have anything. When you collect the rent because you don't want to work, but your neighbor wanted to run a business, but you allow the illegal foreign national to set up business next to your neighbor, and now you are responsible for killing your neighbor. Let us stand up and go to local government and say, please help us, give us money so that we buy stock and fill this shop and sell for ourselves. It's your right. It's your right. Don't let it stop here. Don't let it die here. Please, let us stand up and go and do the right thing. I thank you very much for your participation. I know that this is not the last.
Well, this is supposed to be easy breezy, right? You know, according to this senior citizen of South Africa, he is saying that, telling his government or telling the people around him who are ready to listen and who are just like him, that now that foreigners have left and their shops are empty and locked up, they need to do something about it. And what it is that he is suggesting is that they should go to the government and ask them, in his own words, ask the councillor. I don't know who they call the councillor. Ask the councillor, now that the shops are empty, how do we get stock to refill it so that we can run the shops? That is what he's saying, and with his full chest. And the people behind him, the spectators, those who were listening to him, actually thought he was making a lot of sense, and they were clapping for him. They clapped for him so much. So what do you think, guys? Do you think he's making sense? Because I don't think this makes the least bit of sense, actually. Who waits for the government to provide them with stock? Did you ask the foreigners how they came up with their stock? It wasn't your government that gave it to them. They worked hard for it. They started from scratch, from nothing, before getting that stock, the so-called stock that you want your government to give to you on a silver platter. Hello, welcome to Belle's Take. My name is Belle. If you're just discovering my channel, Welcome to the family. And to my returning subscribers, I do appreciate you. Do subscribe and engage with the video so it reaches a larger audience. So many Africans had a lot to say about this. They had a lot to say, and none of it was pleasant. None of what they had to say was pleasant. Let's go and take a look, and I'll be right back. Now, before we proceed, all original videos belong to their original creators, and thank you to the original creators for posting the content that made this discussion possible. Big ups to you guys.
If an elderly South African can reason like this, tell me how the youth will think. You understand? The elderly ones, this is the reason why the youth does not have sense. If the elderly ones still reason in this manner, in this kind of way, I mean, there is no way black South African youth will reason like normal human being if their parents are reasoning like this. So this is kind of a passive laziness, a kind of a passive unintelligency. You understand? Like, it's kind of hereditary. To me, I think it's hereditary, because you can imagine what he's saying. Now that the foreigners has left, they should go and talk to government, so that the government will give them money to start up their businesses and all of that. Government will also pay shop rent every year. If you lose the money, then government, you go and meet government again. Sorry, government, I've lost the money, the whole money. I need another money. If not, we'll start another march and loot protesting. If not, we'll start another. This is just the reality of life. These people, they don't think like normal human beings. Like, these are the kind of people that we share the same continent with. If this man would reason like this, just imagine the average youth of black South Africa. Just imagine how the average youth will reason. This just to show you that this their way of thinking, this their lazy way of thinking is hereditary, is inheritance. Like, they inherited it. It's passive. From grandparent to parent, from parent to children, from children to grandchildren. It's not gonna stop. Imagine what he's saying.
So, actually, many people are saying that there's something fundamentally wrong with how a senior citizen is reasoning and how he's speaking. So, what is to become of the younger ones who are supposed to be learning from the older ones if this is how they are reasoning? And I think I agree with this. How can you not see anything wrong with what you're saying? Asking for free stock. I mean, everything has to be free. I mean, give us. Give me your shop. Give me your this. You're taking our jobs. Leave our country. Must everything be free? Everything is not free. In fact, as a matter of fact, nothing is free. Something has to go for something. And when I went to the comment section of this video, it was hell. People were mad at this guy. People were mad at him, and I came across an especially interesting one that read, you are asking for free stock to sell, so am I also entitled to come for free things whenever I need it from your shop? Because how would the government give you for free, but then me as a citizen, also a South African citizen, can't get it for free? So if the government is going to give you free stock, then I, the customer, will also come for it for free and not have to pay for it. So this is a whole chaos uprising. Assuming it is possible that the government can give you free stock, then people will go for whatever they need for free without paying, because they are also citizens. This is how appalling this sounds.
What kind of human beings are this one? I'm not even sure if the God that created us created them. I promise you, I don't even know. What kind of human beings are this one? Every African national that is watching this, he knows this is mental illness. There is no way this is possible. There's no way this entitlement is even possible in someone else's brain. And for you to even feel it's your right for you to demand this kind of thing from the government. What is wrong with you? Look at the people around him. What he is saying makes sense to them, for them to even clap for him. You want the government to give you money to stock in the shop that you guys close from foreigners. You can't even afford to stock in the shop. We are not even talking about renting it or building it. Who created these guys? Ha! I promise you, you guys are going to suffer. These guys need brain upgrade. I promise you. They need a brain upgrade, surgery.
So I have one question for South Africans. You know, when they decided to embark on this march and march, what was the plan? What was the plan? Was it just to drive away the foreign nationals and that's it? Didn't you know that there will be empty shops? I mean, businesses will be left behind. All this were to be expected, right? So what was the plan? Or you're expecting that magically when the foreign nationals leave, then manna will start falling from heaven, or what? There should have been a plan. So how can you, after successfully driving away immigrants, you now turn around to look at the government to provide you with stock? This is why a lot of people are mad and reacting really angrily. Many think that your educational system is backward and not doing you a good service, not turning out intelligent people who can reason for themselves, who can sit down and plan for themselves and make good futures for themselves. The problem I have with this man asking for freebies from the government is that he seems not to find anything wrong with what he's saying. And do you know what is even more disgusting? The people behind him think he's making sense and they are clapping for him. So, where are we going to get that hope from? All hope looks lost. Nobody can reason better than the other. Is that what you guys are showing us? Is that what you are telling us? Is that a question?
That is a South African citizen talking about the closure of Spaza shop, talk shop, off license shop, whatever you want to call it. In South Africa, he is thanking the March and March movement, the Afrophobic movement, for taking these shops away from Africans and evicting them from their respective business. He's not saying that, okay, these businesses have been taken over or have been shut down. The Africans have left. The businesses are empty. What is the next stage? The next stage is to ensure that South Africa occupies those businesses. You can listen to this man. A middle-aged man. That man should be nothing less than 60 years old. He is saying that South Africans need to now occupy those shores by going to government to give them funds in order to stock the shops or the empty shops that have been left by African migrants. You see how tragic. If a man of this age do not understand how to raise finance, what is the hope for South Africa? You see, sometimes I hear South Africa has one of the best universities on the continent. I think it's absolutely ludicrous. I think it's absolutely nonsense. Most South Africans are completely ignorant. They do not understand how to raise finance on how to set up a business. They believe government has to do everything for them. This entitlement mentality is what is eating them up. That is why they have not been able to be prosperous in their own country. That is why every foreigner that came to South Africa have been more successful than the locals who are South Africans. If a middle-aged man, a man close to the age of 60, does not understand it is not the responsibilities of government to provide you with stock when setting up a business, tells you a lot about the educational system in South Africa. I think the South Africa educational system is one of the worst educational systems in the world. You know, people pass by just 30 marks. That is why a lot of them have critical analysis skills. That is why they do not have the capacity to decipher information. They all see things from the same perspective. There is no differences. People cannot have their own reasons or isolate or decipher information differently. When somebody makes a statement, say, let's get rid of a particular group of people, they all form in line. They are just like a sheep, a herder. You know, that is the way they think. This man is not saying that South Africans must march to the local council or the government to provide them with stock so that they can manage their business. For him, he said he's quite dumbfounded, you know, astonished how are foreigners having the ability to open business in South Africa. How is an asylum seeker who came to South Africa owns a business. For him, he's quite shocked. If an old man of this age is shocked, what is happening to the younger generation? It tells you that South Africa is cooked, that South Africa does not have a bright future with this set of citizens who are very entitled, who have no knowledge of how to run a business. That is why 60% of Black South Africans are unemployed. That is why the levels of poverty among Black South Africans is over 60%. This is the reason. These guys are not creating wealth for themselves. They are dependents of government, 350 rand a month. That is what they depend on. Government provide them RODP houses. They depend on government on every phase of their life. That is why they have remained poor in their own country, despite being the majority. I don't think there's any African within the continent that is as poor, that have a myopic mindset as that of South Africans. That is my take. Thank you.
We have come to the end of today's video. Thank you so much for your time. Do subscribe and engage with the video so it reaches a larger audience. Support a sister. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.